I don't know if any of you have read Jane Austen's novel, Pride and Prejudice. Any of you read that? It tells the love story between a brilliant and slightly complicated woman, Elizabeth, and a rather proud, aloof Mr. Darcy. And Darcy falls in love with Elizabeth, but he doesn't realize it. Now, there's a moment in the book where Mr. Darcy comes to call on Elizabeth, and he is shown into the living room where she is, and as he steps in, he sees her there all alone. All of her family have gone. And so he apologizes, because as a man, he cannot be alone in a room with a woman to whom he is not betrothed to be married. So he apologizes, and he says, "I had no idea you were unaccompanied. If I had known, I would not have called." And he turns and he starts to walk out of the room. And as he's about to leave the door, he stops. He turns around, he walks back in, he looks at her, and he says, "It will not do. My feelings will not be repressed. You must allow me to tell you how ardently I admire and love you." Now, gentlemen, listen carefully. That line is a winner. However, he goes on to say that he loves her, even though it goes against his will, even though it goes against his reason, even though it goes against his own better character. And she rejects his love. Being a man, he can't understand why. So he says, "I may inquire how you so easily dismiss me." And she looks at him and says, "You told me that you loved me, even though it goes against your will, even though it goes against reason, even though it goes against your own better character." In other words, she is saying, "You told me that you loved me against all better judgment." You see, true love doesn't exist in the absence of judgment. True love exists in the presence of it. Most of us are desperate to know intimacy in our life. We go around projecting an image of ourselves to other people, hoping they will like us and love us. The problem with this is that people fall in love with the image and not the reality. Which is why you can be very rich, very powerful, very famous, or even very beautiful, and still terribly lonely. Because people only fall in love with the image. They never get to know the real you. I can more or less guarantee, no matter how popular you are, if no one knows the real you, no one knows your weaknesses, your shortcomings, your failings, the dark side to your character. If no one knows you like that, you're terribly alone. True love doesn't exist in the absence of judgment. True love exists in the presence of it. That's precisely the way in which God loves us. God sees us exactly as we are. He sees our failings, he sees our shortcomings, he sees our weaknesses, he sees the dark side to our character, yet he loves us. That is what makes God's love meaningful. He doesn't love us because we are lovely. Rather, his love will ultimately make us beautiful in his sight.